knows.
Oh no. Hey, here we are. We back at Breaking Point tonight, Thursday night. Got some little music going. The Waymaker, big song in the Christian Contemporary, and we got Russell Snyder's back. That's kind of scary, right?
It is. You know,
he's back.
It was a tough couple of weeks in prison, and
was it?
It's good to be back.
What state were you in? They get you in all of them?
I was in a bad state of mind.
Yeah, that's
so
pretty good.
Done,
It worked out. They feed you good?
Oh, did they?
You got 3 squares.
I got 3 squares. All right. We won't go there live. So
no, hey, look here, man. We got a gentleman here tonight. His name is Bo. Just Bo. We don't call him nothing but Bo because he lost his arrow.
And Bo knows.
That's good, right?
That was really. I got it.
Oh, yeah. Take you a minute. It's all right. Hey, look here, but we've been having a good time. Tammy's here tonight too. Her and Ronnie been talking about meth, the sorcery, and demonic side of things. And
hello, everyone.
Yep, she says hello, everyone. We've gotten a lot of hits
Queen
on your
Wave
stuff too, by the way. The what? The Queen Wave?
Yeah, it was Queen Wave.
You almost look like a queen tonight.
Drag.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they've been doing a great job with that. I want to thank Tammy and Ronnie for all their input and stuff that they've been doing. They've just been having a good time with it. We have Patrick Ulrich is here tonight, and I'm gonna tell you why I said his name, because Pat is 9 months clean today. You believe that? 9 months clean. So everybody give a big hand out there.
9 months.
9 months clean.
Congratulations.
Good, man. How'd you do that?
Wasn't easy.
Well, get out of that recliner. Come over here for us.
I know something else happens in 9 months. Sometimes you say
well,
hallelujah, and sometimes you say, uh-oh.
And the whole church said amen. Get right over here next to him. He's talking about babies now.
So when you get up, you know, I heard after work.
So, no, you guys stand up.
Okay.
Even though you're shorter than us, that's okay. That's okay. You'll be all right. You're not going to be here but a minute. So, you just completed 9 months in recovery, right? Today is that day, right? Well, you know, I've got it in my hand, but I'm going to hand it to Russell Snyder because he founded Breaking Point, and I feel like he needs to honor you. And
it is my pleasure.
Be honored.
Present it to you, brother. Because 9 months seems like 9 years. You know, it does, and I'm proud of you. Each day it gets better, but this first few, I think the first 3 months for me were like, when we got through that, it was just easy going. So I admire you for it, and it's encouraging everybody else out there. So congratulations to you. Proud of you.
We're proud of you, man. So, you got anything you want to say? Not a half hour, just a couple of seconds.
Just something that's one of my favorite sayings. It's actually what Navy SEALs in training say. The only easy day is yesterday.
That's good. That's real good stuff.
Amen to that.
Russell will remember that next time he goes
And
to jail.
in case he's watching, Chris Eubanks, one of my best friends, likes to call this one the Chanel Black and Gold chip. So
He made it. You know what?
Chris.
The Chris Eubanks that I know?
Yeah.
Is Chris watching you tonight?
Yeah.
Chris, if you're watching, I still got your 90 day. You gave me a 90 days a long time ago. Still got it in my wallet, just like you asked me to keep it. I kept it, brother.
Yeah.
Still holding you accountable, man.
And Chris, I still got those love texts you sent me a little earlier too.
Here we go. It has.
We love you, man.
All right. Have a seat there, young man. We have a couple guest guys right here. Y'all have a seat. Patrick, thank you, man. We love you, brother. We appreciate you. We're real proud of you, man. All right, look here. So, Russ, we got some quotes here. Why don't we go through a few of these quotes and kind of.
All right. Usually I can read picture books better, but let's see.
Well, I might have a book with pictures for kids. Would that work? I got some books of food over here and stuff.
Say, it does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop.
That's pretty good.
Especially if you're a sloth.
Well, if you're a sloth, that explains it. But you know, if we're moving through our life and we're trying to correct ourselves and trying to get better in our life, take your time. You know, God's in no hurry.
It's reaching.
He's
man.
right there.
It is. I told somebody the other day.
Yeah.
There's a couple of people that I'm working with currently. Man, they keep messing up, and they mess up almost like you just expected.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, they don't stop fighting. Another thing, those are the ones that encourage me more lately than anybody. And they just don't quit. I mean, they should have laid down long ago. But
Yeah,
they
that's
just
true.
don't have no quit in them. So that goes to those guys there, and they know who they are if they're watching.
That really led to the next one, too. That next one's pretty good.
Because I'm not telling you it is going to be easy. I'm telling you it's going to be worth it.
Amen.
That's exactly right.
Wow, that's pretty strong right there.
There ain't nothing, it's easy. It ain't worth getting.
If it was easy, everybody would do it.
It's kind of like when somebody gives you your first car, then they'll take care of it. When you buy that first car, that baby get taken care of when you put your money in it.
Let's see what the next one is. We just got to do a few of these quotes, and then we're going to get Bo up here.
Bo knows quotes.
Well, Bo probably quoted some of this. I don't know. He might have. It says, my recovery must come first so that everything I love in life doesn't have to come last. That's good stuff right there.
That's so true.
Don't you think?
That's so true, man.
Man, it's if you love life, everything else will work out. But you got to love God to love life.
It sure seems like when everything's falling apart in your life is during that time.
Well,
I,
absolutely right.
I haven't really got, you won't believe this, but I've never got in trouble really sober. I don't think. Okay,
I'm
honestly
glad you're
telling you, I
staying
think.
that way.
I'm honestly trying to tell you something. You know, when you laugh at me, it hurts. See?
See? Go ahead. It's a
The
new
goal,
message.
the goal isn't new message. The goal isn't to be sober. The goal is to love yourself so much that you don't need to drink. Boy,
That's good stuff right there too.
man, we ain't too good looking. We might have to drink ourselves pretty. It might be a
We gotta get some of that purified water. That's what it is.
natural disaster.
Natural disaster. That's right. I understood myself only after I destroyed myself, and only in the process of fixing myself did I really know who I really was. I was about to say, if you read that too fast, messed up or not, you can't. That's gonna confuse you real quick.
Mm-hmm. But once you destroyed yourself, if you hit that breaking point, I
There you
thank
go.
God for that day every day. When somebody tells me that they've hit the bottom and they're broken, I say, you got no idea how blessed you are.
Amen.
And you'll celebrate that day one day.
It
It
is.
really is.
Let's do one more, man.
All right. Let's do it.
Your turn.
I am not defined by my relapses, but my decision to remain in recovery despite them. Wow. I like that. That goes back to that don't quit. Man.
You can't quit. You can't give up because you know Pat and I were talking about him being at 9 months clean or sober right now. You know you got to have a good support program. You know, folks, you got to have people that's going to believe in you, that's going to pray with you, that's going to help you walk through all these things. I mean, you can't do it by yourself. And one thing you need to be able to do is open up and talk to somebody and be able to discuss it. And just kind of open your heart up with somebody that you can trust. And,
That's right.
you know, first off, God is the one that you can trust more than anybody.
Amen.
Because He's there for all of us.
Just like you said, that's that first big step. And got a couple of friends tonight who stopped in who's taking that big step. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, that's the hardest part. That's the number one thing, man. And we're excited to be able to talk to you after. And man, God's already moved. So it's something to be excited about.
So we're gonna get Bo up here in just a second, but I brought a verse up which I've always kind of lived by, Romans 8:28, and we all know, and we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose, and we are all called according to His purpose.
I've heard that verse this week.
How many times?
Machine, if you're out there, there's your verse.
That's right.
That's me. She swears it.
Yeah, she does, and that's when I was a kid. I always lived by this.
That's what she said.
So look, we're going to get Bo up here, and Bo's going to talk to us about, I believe it's heroin addiction and so forth. Cool. Just to let you know that we love Bo too. He's a great young man. I've known him for a long time. I'm going to tell you how, but I've known him for a long time. So I'm going to do this so we don't read the same ones again. So this is Bo, and Bo, we appreciate you being with us tonight, man. Just
glad to be here.
Feel like you're in the living room, man.
Oh yeah, very comfortable.
Appreciate you a lot. So I'm going to kind of back up a little bit. I got to get here on the equipment and be sure everything levels right. And Bo's going to talk to you about what he went through in his life, and he's just going to talk from his heart. So we've got the chat line opened up on our YouTube. So be sure that you chat with us. Tammy, you got yours up already?
I do.
So I know you're going to be on top of this real quick.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So is it already live streaming and everything?
Yes, it
Okay, you good?
Yep.
All right. So Bo, it's all yours,
Have
man.
the chat.
All right.
Do it to it. I'll be right here.
All right. I'm Bo, and I have been clean for 2.5 years. I'm just turned 29 years old. So I got clean right about a little before 27. And I did a lot of things. I pretty much played around with everything, but what always stayed consistent for me was heroin. When I was in high school, I played around with different drugs, and I tried pain medication and thought that was just the same type of thing, and it turned out that it wasn't for me. It's one of those things that I can still remember the first day, the first time that I did I did one, and the feeling that it gave me, and I can remember thinking in my head, I want to feel like this for the rest of my life. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. And I did for, almost 10 years. Yeah, and it took a lot for me. It took a lot of pain. I don't think that it takes that much pain for everybody to get clean. It did for me. Um, but I truly believe that everything I went through during that time has led me to the point that I'm at now. I don't think God makes mistakes. I think He does things for a reason. And ever especially since I've gotten clean, I've just trusted His will and pretty much given everything up to Him, and my life has just flourished. Today I have a great job, a great girlfriend. I can be in a healthy relationship. It I, I was incapable of loving myself, much less someone else, for 10 years, and it's just not like that anymore. It took. I was told in the beginning. I went to treatment many times. I mean, from the time that I was 18 to 20 houses, inpatients, outpatients, and it just if you have to want it more than anything else in the world. I mean, it has to be. You have to be willing to give up everything to maintain sobriety, and I finally was. I always thought that it was something I would never be able to get, and that it was just impossible for me. I accepted a long time ago that I was going to die a junkie, and it's not the case. It doesn't have to be the case. I was told early on to get on my knees every single night before bed and in the morning. And I never really was too big into prayer, but I started doing this because I was so desperate for something to change that I was willing to do absolutely anything that somebody that had a little bit of clean time recommended. So I started getting on my knees and I started praying, and my life started getting better. I still do that every night. I mean, without fail. I know there have been key things along the way that have, you know, that have helped me to maintain my frame of mind and my spirituality. And these things, I mean, have carried me to where I am now. You know, I, I'm just so grateful. I truly didn't think that it was possible for somebody like me. And I talk to people sometimes, old buddies or something, that are struggling. And to this day, like, I'm literally the worst junkie I've ever met. I've never met one worse. In the first year that I got clean, I got treated and cured for Hep C within the first 6 months. Cured. I had Hep C for the better part of 6 years. Um, and I mean, that's just to show, somewhat of how, it got really bad for me for a long time. I moved all over the place. I lived in South Florida for years, and that was just a nightmare. But, I had just had my butt beat enough, and I was willing to do anything it took. For the first almost year, I worked a job that was the most labor intensive thing that I could think of. I mean, I did heating and air in, crawl spaces that were this tall for 12 hours straight in 130-degree weather. And it was miserable, but I did it because I didn't care. I mean, I wanted to try something I've never tried, because I tried everything else 100 times and it never worked. I tried my way 100 times and it never worked. I've incorporated, some different things in my own personal recovery um, that are, have been key for me. Um, but I mean, you have to keep faith in God, and when I finish my prayers every night, you know, I ask him to, you know, for just his will to be done and me to do, him to lead me in the right directions, because so far he hadn't led me astray yet. And sometimes I catch myself being not complacent, but like starting to get a little ungrateful, or be like, you know, why haven't I, you know, gotten an even better job, or why haven't I, you know, why don't I live in a bigger house? But, you know, I have my own house today. I have my own car today. I have a great girlfriend that's, you know, way more than I deserve. And, you know, we're going to end up getting married. And I just never, these are things that I just truly thought were impossible for somebody like me. Because I didn't know, for 10 years, the only thing I knew how to do was use and put drugs in my arm. And it's just not like that anymore. I don't know. I check myself and get back to reality and think of how grateful I truly am. And in the little amount of time it's been, how far that I have come, because it's way already so far surpassed any more than I ever thought was possible for me. But it's been a ride, but I'm grateful.
So I got a question. You've
Yeah.
already answered it actually, and
Oh yeah.
but I'm just going to say this, and no pun intended there, Russ. But what was exactly your breaking point?
This last time I was living in my mom's house, and I didn't get clean right after this point. But this is, I can specifically remember this is when my mind changed about the whole thing. As I woke up one morning, and I think I don't know if I'd just gotten out of jail a couple weeks ago, or from some halfway house in Atlanta. I know I'd been up in Atlanta. But I woke up one morning at my mom's, and I was dope sick again. And I was like, how did this happen again? I was like, it's been, you know, this has been 10 years going on. And I tried to, you know, use a little bit and pace myself and space it apart so much that this habit thing didn't happen again. And it had. And I woke up, and I remember thinking to myself, I had no money. And I was like, I'm about to be stealing from my mother again if something doesn't change. And that's when I realized that I actually couldn't do it anymore.
So your drug of choice was heroin.
Heroin, yes sir.
So, and I mean, I know a lot more than you think I know, but not about you necessarily, but about how this stuff works. But but I like to ask the questions about what about this particular drug. I mean, where did it drive you? I know where it drove you to, but did it take you completely out of sorts in your mind, your body, and everything? I mean,
It's hard to explain. The way I've explained it to people, how it feels is, it's so much the devil. It's so deceitful that it's literally the best and the worst thing in the world. The best, like something that good can't come with no consequences. It's
oh, okay,
impossible.
that's good.
Impossible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it just puts you. I mean, it's into total oblivion.
Takes reality out
Total
of the way.
oblivion. Yeah.
You know, it's one thing that's amazed me about addiction is that people are. It seems to me that and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that every addiction, no matter what it is pulling you away from reality. It's kind of what I'm seeing, and the reason I think that people go to that, my opinion only, is that there's something in reality that they're having trouble dealing with in life. Either you're an extremely highly intelligent individual, which most people, to me, in my experience, that have any type of an addiction, are really very intelligent people. And I said one night, I think in a meeting up at the church, Russell, I said, I'm not up here to speak tonight to a room full of addicts. I'm here to speak to a room full of Christian brothers and sisters. And that's the only reason I'm right here. Because I'm not here, we're not here to judge. We just want to love everybody, man. We want them to know that they can come to us or whatever we need to do to help you get to a point. And, you know, your story is just, for me, is I don't know, it's just awesome. Because I know that you went through a lot, and I know that you tried and you tried and you tried and you tried. And that's why I said, what was your breaking point? And, you know, sometimes I can't even fathom how people go through. And then all of a sudden they spin it around and it's like, okay, now I know where Russell got that name. You know, breaking point. Go ahead, Dan.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If you can kind of maybe help me to understand it a little bit more, because I don't know a whole lot about heroin.
Mhm.
My drug of choice was meth.
Mhm.
Yes. And,
You're a Methodist.
but
I think you meant to say Methodist. I think.
Red Methalonians.
Methodonians. Okay, go ahead.
so
Drums in your
is heroin a downer or an
It's a
upper?
downer.
Downer?
Very much
Okay,
downer.
because you know I do know people. I've seen people that's on it,
Mhm.
and I'm so naive. I thought they took a pain pill, and later on somebody's like, you know what? Tell me you're so naive. They were on heroin, but they would be like nodding out.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you able to be a functioning heroin addict? It's because of it making you nodding out like that. Are you able to kind of function on a day-to-day basis?
I mean, not I couldn't.
You know, like
Some
fake it
people
till you make
can. Here's the thing: some people can. I mean, if you've got the financial means and the self control to like pace yourself to use certain amounts to not get to that point, but just to not be sick and get through the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's done. I couldn't do it, but I mean, I didn't have a job for like 10 years. You know, I just hustled on the street for everything. I mean,
Yeah.
and
Well, I just want to say that I'm very proud of you.
thank you. I
I
appreciate
know I
it.
just met you tonight, but it just hurts my heart to think that had you not gotten clean, you could have been. I mean, because they're dying. I mean, left and right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, our community's dropping like flies with the needle still in the arm.
Mhm.
And I just want to say I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
When I
it.
said to, I was speaking with a girl last night.
Mhm.
The call I got up at 3:30. She called begging me for money.
Mhm.
She's dope sick.
Mhm.
I never did heroin. I was, same drug, toys, that cocaine. So I've seen it a lot, and I've seen the nodding off and everything else, and seen the dope sick when I was in rehab. I saw people come off of everything within about 3 or 4 days with the natural supplements, whatever they were getting. I think the hardest was alcohol. I
Right.
saw people come off of. To a girl who wants to be clean, but she says she does when she's sick. Okay, but she doesn't want to go through the dope sickness, or as little as possible. Is there? What do you suggest? Is there a place to go? Is there a way to get to come off and just detox? The best, easiest way.
If you want to just detox, like a temporary thing,
Yeah.
I think they've got. I think they you can go to. I don't know actually. If
she says something about a methadone clinic.
okay, so here's the deal with that. All right, a lot of this is a huge gray area, like in
Yeah.
recovery for people.
Yes.
And a lot of people hate on it. A lot of people think that it's not the way to go, and you're not clean, and this is not. I mean, that's not how you should live your life. But for me personally, it was totally necessary. I've been on something called Suboxone for almost, the entire time. And here's the deal: I've tried the methadone program. I tried Suboxone before, and I tried these things numerous times, but I wasn't ready to stop using drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, when it came to the point where I was telling y'all about that breaking point, and then it was me having that desperation, incorporating God back into my life, and using Suboxone. It just worked for me this time, and I only used it to maintain cravings. But I would say for that girl, she can do. They have detoxes, I believe, that you can go to. I've been to some in Florida that you can go in for like a week or so, and they'll put you on Suboxone for a week and a half and kind of wean you off the heroin and stuff. Around here, I don't know of any like state ran place. I know that John's place in Statesboro, but I don't think they do Suboxone. So.
And then is John's place just for males or is that females?
It's for both.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. They do both. I've never been, but I know a lot of buddies that have gone there, and I've referred. I've had people reach out to them in the past, but
You just took one favor, look at that camera and let her know that it's possible.
It is
And
100% possible. I'm telling you, if I can do it, anyone can change their life.
Amen. That's
Anyone can change their life. And I felt hopeless and just absolutely beat for so long and saw no way out. But when I started listening to some, good Christian people and took some of their suggestions, my life changed, and it is possible. It is 100% possible.
Got a couple of comments here on the chat line. I'm gonna throw at you. One of them comes from a young lady that's part of our church. Said he's describing exactly what the enemy does. He gets us and he makes us think whatever we are doing is the best thing ever, but the consequences are deadly. And I think that's been proven in many ways. Now, there's somebody here that has chimed in on chat line that has evidently known you quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying the man I see standing there now is a gazillion times the man he's been in his whole life that I've ever known him. That's about you, man.
That's awesome.
And that's,
She says, I love you so much.
yeah, she says she loves you so much. Another one here says, seems that you have to be ready to break the chain that Satan has on you to get out of the addiction. And through prayer and the strength of Christ, you can get pulled out of the darkness. We were talking about darkness a while ago, I think. Patrick Goddard came in. By the way, Sheena, we know that you're chimed in here. We already read your scripture, Romans 8:28, by the way. We took care of that because we figured you was going to be around. Sheena says you can detox at the hospital, but they will send you to Serenity, and a lot of people don't want to do that. And you're right, Sheena. We've been working on one particular guy for 2 months now, and he don't want anything to do with that. It's good for some people, I guess. I don't know. I've never been there. So it says, but your willingness has to supersede the enemy coming after you. And that's real strong right there, because the enemy will attack you. Bo had said earlier that this prayer thing was I guess, kind of, I don't want to say it was new to him, but we have to kind of accept Christ, and you got to accept the prayer thing. And prayer works. Prayer helps people. God heals people. The faith that you have in God that's the healing power right there. You got to have that faith. Patrick Goddard says right here, he says, the man standing tall, he calls you. The man standing tall, and that's pretty awesome. There's people just throwing stuff right there. He says, I think it all comes down to really wanting to change your life. That's a great point.
You have to.
Great
bottom
point.
line.
Great point.
Everybody's
Addicts
breaking
have to be
point
forced
is
there.
different.
Most addicts have to be forced there. We got to get back as far as we can in the corner to where we okay, we cannot lose anymore. This is it. I've given, I blamed, and then there ain't nowhere else to go.
Yes.
I mean, I got to look at me now. There's nothing else.
Yes, but like my breaking point is different than your breaking point.
Oh,
All
absolutely.
different, all the same.
Yes.
I'm just gonna get up here with Bo because I can. These things. Y'all keep chatting with us because we're not through yet. We're just kind of getting into this program tonight, and we may get. Russ might walk over here again, or Pat might come up, or even Tammy might step over here in a minute. You never know about this bunch. They all kind of confused as I am. We all been around each other a long time. This one lady's asked, saying to you, God bless you for sharing your message of hope. So, you said something a little bit ago, Bo, about you just didn't think that there was any way, there was nothing else, and you were just, at one point you were ready to give up, and then how did I get back into this again? And then, and then all of a sudden, I see you myself after a good while, and I look at you and I go, that's the same Bo I know. Wow, he looks great, man. And it's just, that is the change that a person that's an addict of any sort needs to see. Somebody that's gone through that. It's ready to make their life better. Because see, y'all, God is the only way to help us get through this. He gives us the common sense. He gives us the knowledge that we need. It's just up to us to make a good, wise choice to be sure that we make the right decisions to go down the right path. But we got to have somebody to lean on. You guys know that. All of you do. We got to be able to lean on each other.
Absolutely.
And Bo, there may be people that will come to you after this tonight and say, hey, Bo, tell me how to deal with this, man. And that's, we kind of, yeah, go ahead.
I hope so. I mean, I'm willing to give back in any way I can. I'm not, I've been to many different types of meetings. I haven't attended any on a regular basis in a while. But that's why I was, more than happy to do this, because I haven't done anything to give back in a long time, and I really, really think that it's a huge, huge part of staying in the right state of mind with your spirituality and everything. I mean, and I just I hope somebody does reach out. I'm more than willing to kind of steer you, and all I can do is tell you what I did, and I can tell you that what I did this time completely changed my life. So.
And changing your life was a big step, and I know that now that your life is just, for me, your life is that picture, that perfect picture you see in a frame.
It is. I mean,
And I don't think you saw that particular frame before, but you're definitely seeing it now. And when we're talking about the meth and the sorcery and so forth, and then Bo's giving us some information on heroin tonight. And, it's the kind of thing to me where it's all going to come after you sooner or later. It's going to try. But how strong is your faith? How are you in prayer? Are you really going to follow God? Are you going to do what He's set out for you to do? My father particularly was an alcoholic. One of my daughters went through an addiction of meth, and I just want to give you the list. But this is one of the things that drove me to getting involved more at our church, trying to be sure to help people to go further. So if there's anybody out there tonight that's watching, we got quite a few chatting tonight on this thing, by the way. We really, really appreciate you, watching us and listening to stuff, because we've had a lot of hits on a lot of programs we've done, because people are paying attention, because they want, even though they've been an addict for a while, they want to get straightened out. And sometimes something like Bo may say, or Tammy, or Ronnie, or Russ, or any of you guys, it may be that one thing that they need to hear, that, you know what, if you can do it, dadgummit, I can do it. Well, see, God gives us all the same chance to be able to make a change in our life. And we either make that change or we don't. It depends on where you want to be. It depends on what you want to do. It depends on where you want to go with your life. And Bo has said something else is real magic right here. Whatever I can do to give back. Now imagine if every addict that recovered stepped up and gave back to every other addict that's trying to recover. That is a way right there to me to knock the numbers down. Russ, didn't we just have a guy take his life? When was it? Today? Yes. Today or last night. Somebody that we both know. I just can't remember his name. Jesse? Somebody. Anyway. So, this can happen every single day. And Tammy's right. This has been happening a lot lately. And we want to try to help stop some of this. Folks, going down that wrong path and making that wrong choice. We want them to make the right choice. So, please let us know at Three Nails Gospel Church in Breaking Point on Thursday nights. By the way, we go back into the church building next Thursday for Breaking Point. Wide open. We're going to go back in there. We're going to have a little snack at the end. But I think Miss Carol's going to be back, the prop queen. She's going to be back. Yeah. And we're going to get this thing back on course. So all you folks
said, I said, I wish y'all could feel. I just commented on that. I wish y'all could feel the Holy Spirit in this room.
Yes.
But next week, expect Him to get all of it.
Amen. That's
He's coming.
That's right. That's right.
Coming,
And that's another reason that I was tickled when Bo wanted to come tonight, because this gave us a great opportunity to be able to introduce us back into the church with the program. This has been going on for what? Almost 2 years, Russ?
Yep. We were 2 years, May the 10th.
Okay, a little over 2 years.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty good. And we've done a whole lot.
And Pastor Bill, I'd like to say something to
Please.
his friend that.
You want to come over here and do it? Or you just
Sure.
want to sit right there?
Sure. I'll come
Get
over
this-
here and do it.
Move Pat's foot and chair. We'll be all right. Worry about all that other stuff.
You want me to get out from under here?
No.
You stay right here.
Okay.
You ain't getting out that easy. Okay, I just want to say to Russ's friend that's watching, my niece, she was on meth, heroin, weed. She's the one person that where I had to find out some things about heroin, like because I was so naive to it. I thought she done took her a pain pill when she was actually nodding out from doing heroin. She was sick in addiction for years and years. And I'd like to say that she's now 8 months clean. And if Sarah can do it, I'm telling you, just like Bo said, anybody can do it. She now has her kid back. She now has a job where they handed her the keys to the business. God is in the restoration business. And God loves me just exactly the same that He loves Pastor Bill. Just the same as y'all. He doesn't love any of us any different. Because him being a pastor doesn't mean He loves them anymore.
That's right.
And I just want to tell Russ's friend that there's hope. You just gotta want it, and you gotta put God first. But it is very possible.
You good?
Yeah.
See, when I retired from my other job back in December, somebody asked me the other day, he said, man, you retired, how's retired life? I said, what are you talking about? I got the best boss in the world now. I get overtime and everything. And my reward's the same. That means it's always going to be great. I've just got to understand and appreciate that. And God pulled me out of something I did for many years and said, I want you in the church in the pulpit. And I said, you got to be kidding me, really?
So looking down my road, it's his business.
That's right. So, you know, God put you where he needs you to be, but you got to make that choice. You got to accept it. And, you know, also he gives you the tools and the ability to work for him. And if you work for him, he's going to make everything else in your life completely possible. Everything. I mean, you
Absolutely.
will not lose. You will never lose. You will do nothing but win every single time. So, you know, if anybody got any more questions for Bo, please send them in because I'm not going to keep him here all night because he's a young man. He's got to work hard for a living.
And he's got a
That's
girlfriend too. If you notice, he mentioned her quite.
Yeah,
a few
she's on the
times.
way back. He needs yes.
I bet she's watching because we were over here doing that.
But you know,
Cindy says he can make us whole again. Look at our Facebook page today. Our hope for today is about his blood washing us snow white as snow.
yeah, he will
Yeah, so
every day. So.
we just talked about the white as snow.
I think, look here, Thomas Corsi just jumped on here in the last few minutes. Jerry Hennett's here.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome. Sheena's still there. No, I'm sorry, Russ. What'd you say?
Thomas Train.
Thomas the Train. Yeah, Thomas is another guy that's been down the road, man. It's been pretty interesting. I'll tell you what. Cynthia says that, is that the one you read about her, that he
Yes.
can make us whole again?
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
Because I saw it and I want to be sure we got that.
Yes.
Wow. Anyway, so Bo, you got any more that you want to bring out here? Anything particular? Or?
You know, I don't know.
No pressure, right?
No pressure.
You know, when you're on heroin and you're at your lowest point, the sense or the sense of your mind or the way your mind's working, I mean, are you just so deeply struggling to wish that you could walk out of the skin that you're in and be where you want to be, in a better place for that matter? I mean, you're fighting it so hard. I guess what I'm trying to say is when you get to that point and you're so deep in it, did you ever feel like at that worst point that you either want to give up completely, or you're laying there going, I wish I could just find a way out of this. You know? Does any of that kind of run through your mind at all?
Oh, I mean, you know, for years I can remember. I can remember going to sleep at night and, you know, like not caring if I woke up the next morning. I mean, it wasn't, you know, it would have been, at that point, I would have felt like it would have been, I don't know about a blessing, but at least some relief. It would have been the only way to get some kind of relief. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, it just didn't work out that way for me. You know, I overdosed numerous times and would wake up in the hospital, and that wasn't enough for me either. I mean, this last time it was just me. You know, I had just woken up and I was literally in the same situation I'd been in to the T a decade before, and I had nothing. I had nothing, absolutely nothing. I was, you know, a shell of a man, and you know, I just had nothing materially. I had nothing to offer anybody, and I was just totally broken, and
Well, look what you have now, right?
it's
Yes.
unbelievable, man.
We have a
Absolutely
couple of
unbelievable.
questions,
Sure.
too. Miss Cindy wants to know, Bo, who introduced you to drugs? I mean, I know you don't have to name
No,
any names or.
An older buddy of mine to the Oxycontin in particular when I was like 16 or 17 years old.
Now, was that then, once you started doing the Oxycontin, did that then lead to the
It
heroin
did.
because of it being Oxycontin
It-
kind of similar?
Yeah, they're both opioids.
Yeah.
So what that you're going to be physically dependent on them. You're
Okay.
going to get really sick if you don't have them.
She also wants to know if you have any advice for young folks and how to stay away from it. Say no.
Say well, you got to say no, but you got to be. You have to put yourself around the right people, man. You have to put yourself around positive people. Get around some good Christian people that
Yeah.
really have your best interest at heart. If you're in a safe place and you're in a place where you think or you know that you are responsible and have people that you're accountable to. For opioids in particular, I mean, if you are having serious cravings to the point that you think you're about to use, I got on Suboxone maintenance and before I used, and I've never felt the need to use since then. I don't think that that's the road for everyone. I don't think if you've been playing with pain pills for a year that that's the road you should take to try to get clean.
Yeah.
But if it's been years and years and years and your brain changes so much with doing that stuff for that amount of time, I mean,
Absolutely.
even Betty Ford, which is like the beacon of the recovery programs in America, everybody models their programs after that. They put all opiate addicts on Suboxone immediately now.
Okay. Well, let me ask you something. So, like, I am on a group called A Mother's Hope on Facebook where it's a bunch of moms who have daughters or sons who are addicts.
Right.
And I hear so many times about, and I've said this before, about how their kid then went to 5 rehabs and 7 recoveries and blah, 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 and they're just not working. I personally think, because I've seen the outcome of it, just probably 100% outcome. The ones that are faith-based, that puts God first. Do you think that you think I'm thinking the same thing?
I mean, I can't imagine that you're wrong. I mean, I would
Right.
say you've got to be spot on.
Because I heard you say that you pray.
Yeah.
every
I
day.
do.
So
I pray
you're putting
all day,
God
every day.
first.
Absolutely, I do.
And to be honest with you, if you hadn't, you may not still be here today.
Oh, I know I
talking
wouldn't.
to us. And
I know I wouldn't have.
Yes.
It was that was by far the biggest part and the biggest change I made was giving my life over to
yes,
him. I mean,
yes.
that was key.
Yes.
I truly believe nothing would have been possible had I
Absolutely.
not done that. These
I
other
agree,
things,
yeah.
these other things I've incorporated in have been things that I've pulled from different experiences and programs and things I've been in.
Yes.
And it's just been things that I've pulled together and in one they've worked for me. I mean,
Can I tell you why? It's because you have His armor on. Like, I have God's armor on, and so when things come to me that are testing me, or even a drug's been put right in front of my face, but I had God's armor on, and so you're shielded. And
I truly believe that too.
You would see that you got to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely faith-based, I feel is the way to go, because with that relationship with Christ comes that true deliverance. And if you're serious about your relationship with Christ, you really press in, you really dig, you really desire that intimacy with Him, He is going to get you out of that and keep you out of it. However, faith-based or not, and you said this earlier, something similar, you have to want it. Everybody,
Yes, absolutely.
everybody
Bottom
who is
line.
in an addiction needs it, because
Yes.
eventually it's going to kill you.
Right.
That's the first
It's going to
step.
kill you, and if you don't have a relationship with Christ, it's going to drag you straight to hell.
Right.
But if you don't want it, it's not going to happen. And I've told a
That's
number of people who are trying to get into recovery, a number of people who are days into recovery, dude, if you don't want this, you are going to fail. You will
Absolutely.
crash and
Yes.
burn.
Absolutely.
And if you go back out, that may be it.
Yeah.
I know for myself personally, if I go back out, it's game over. I'm done.
Right.
Because I almost died before I got into recovery. And I had a personal friend, a young guy, we talked about him a lot on this show, who left a program. He'd only been a few weeks in recovery and used, and he's gone. And I think he was younger than you. I think he was
Yeah.
mid-20s.
Yeah,
terrible.
it was like,
Real sweet kid. And it just took that
Early
one time and
30s.
he was gone. But you have to want it. Bottom
Yes.
line.
oh yeah, but wanting it is when you reach a breaking point. That's what makes you reach that breaking point is because you want it.
And I was willing to change everything, and I mean you'll find as you get further and further away from your last use that like the actual doing of drugs was such a very small part of it. I mean, it was so much deeper than I just did that to numb everything else out because I hated myself and I didn't know how to deal with the wreckage of my past.
Is there anything you can advise parents on, or as you said, you had a parent group on enabling our kids, giving them too much and not knowing when to cut them off? It's just such a fine line, and when you have children, I pray I'm not in that position ever, because I don't think there's an answer. But is there any advice on that as far as?
I'm not. I've thought about this a lot in the past too, and I'm not 100%, on it myself.
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really tough spot for any parent to be in.
Individual based probably.
Probably. I just think that, your parents, they can love you to death,
That's right.
but on the other hand, it's like, I've known people that have been kicked out of their house or someplace and they've died immediately afterwards. And
Can I comment on that?
sure,
And for me, it was actually the reverse situation. My oldest daughter, who has just turned 26, and ironically is actually 2 years sober herself now,
nice.
she was the enabler in my case. There were times when she would be visiting for the weekend, and I would be too drunk to get up and go get another bottle, and she would go get it for me. My ex-wife was the same way, but it was ironic that it was the child who was actually the enabler. And of course, she looks back on it now, and it's like, wow, what was I doing?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, as parents, or on the flip side of it, it's easy.
It's meant to be,
It's
yeah.
really
Oh, yeah.
easy.
She
Yeah,
did that 'cause she
it is.
loves you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it not-
Yeah.
The
I mean, it was
intentions
my
were in the right
birthday, and
place.
we were having fun, and blah blah. But still, it's so easy
now-
to fall into that trap.
Christway Church right up the street here. I'm talking 2 blocks up to your left. They got a program. I think it's on Wednesday nights. It's called PAL, and it's parents of addicted folks. And that's a program you folks need to check into. It's called PAL at Christway, and I believe it's on Wednesday nights. So y'all please check into that. Right over here off of Old Evans Road, Christway Church. They're really, really great people. We kind of team up with them on some other stuff from our church. A couple of things that you said, Bo, and y'all were talking about. I was sitting there thinking, when you said that about your daughter, it was kind of the takeoff of what I was headed, kind of with what Bo was saying. One thing that I know that we haven't really talked about, we have talked about it, but not as much as I would like to, is how much pain is our family going through for all of us or any of us that have an addiction. I mean, what are we putting our family through? What are we're concerned about ourselves, and I know we go through a lot, and then when we get things straightened out, I'm sure as an addict, a person would go, what have I done to my family? And there's programs out there to help the families, to help the kids. I know at Breaking Point, we try our best to work that out with everybody too. We try to maybe break up because we got prayer warriors everywhere at Breaking Point and 3 Nails. When you come in there, it's like, boom, we all kind of gather around. We did with you guys one night.
Boy, do they have some prayer warriors.
And it's strong. And we prayed some stuff out for you guys, and it has
Yes.
your life. Well, there's a couple more things to your life, but that God has been all over you for a while.
Mm.
But I think, families are, and something you said, Pat, about and how loving you to death, or maybe you said it, Bo, I'm not sure. But yes, a family can love an addict to death, literally to death. Because we can do so much for our kids and continue to give them everything they want to keep them happy, enable them. We're enabling. When my daughter was in her addiction for so long and so deep, I would buy a car, or I'd buy a truck, or I'd put her in an apartment. I'd buy furniture. I'd buy clothes. I can't tell you how much money I spent, but the money didn't matter because I knew how to make money in a good way of life because I was very blessed in that area. But my daughter looked at me and one day says, "Dad, I'm going to have to break our communication. You're killing me." You know, she basically said that to me, and I went, "Well, this is going to be hard."
Oh, yeah.
You know, and when I started, she literally cut me off from my phone. No communication, none. This went on for 2 years. And some other things happened to her. And next thing I know, she shows up at my front door. And I'm thinking, by then I'd already said, look, no more, 2 years before that, I'm no more money. And I'm not going to do anything else for you until you're ready. And she came to my door. She sat on my couch. She kept looking out my front window. I said, "As many badges I got hanging in this house. Ain't nobody going to come bother you here. So quit looking for your drug guy. Okay, if that's what you're scared of." I'm not
Tough
worried
love
about it.
is tough.
Tough love is tough love. I was the one getting tough on.
Yes, it's harder on the one giving the tough love.
Yeah. So, when that happened, she looked at me and she says, I can't even get a loaf of bread. I can't stay in another hotel in this town. I am so out of sorts, Dad. I can't do it anymore. Please help me. And I said, good. This is how it's going to work. You're going to go to my mom's with me this weekend for a week. And you can go to church with me tonight because I got to preach again at 5 o'clock. She said, "What am I going to do with the dog?" I said, "I already got your dog sitter." I was ahead of the game because God prepared me for what I needed to do. The reason I'm telling you this story is because I practically just about loved my daughter to death. And I realize that right now. And today, she is a mom.
Yeah.
3 years, probably going on, 3 or 4 months clean. 3 years.
Mom again.
And she's about to have her third child, a little boy.
Yes.
She got 2 girls now, grown girls, Nikki and Kinsley. And she has a great husband. They have a home up the street. They have a camper now. And
Yes.
they both got vehicles. And she works for the School Board of Education, driving a bus.
God
She's
is
a
in the
master
restoration
cosmetologist.
business.
Yeah, he
Look at
did
that list,
all
Ralph.
this.
Yes.
Man, oh yeah, I'm
Let's
going
go.
to listen to them
Yes.
on out. But all these things she
Right.
did because she
Amen.
did what Bo
Yes.
said.
Yes.
I've had
Give it to
enough.
God.
I'm gonna give it all to him. And
Let go and let God.
exactly.
Not to.
And this kind of story, this stuff right here to me is you can love your kids to death.
Yes.
Seriously, and you can love your friends to death on top of that. I mean, there comes a point where we have to realize as parents and as adults and families that we can only do it so far. And then I turn to you guys and say, okay, tell me the stopping point so I'll leave them alone. When we're at the meetings and stuff, Russ and Tammy or any of us that go there, which I pray all y'all will come to Breaking Point next Thursday over at Three Nails Gospel Church across from Evans High School. Come see us. And we start about 7 o'clock. And anyway, it's a great program, and you're going to get a lot of love when you walk in there. But you being committed to yourself and committed to God first and to yourself and to the program, you got to be committed. We're not there to throw chips at you because you got so many days clean. Guess what? We'll give you one. That's fine. We understand that. We're there to show you that your solution to your situation is God. We both said it tonight right off the bat, and I didn't tell him to say that. For all things work together for the good of those who love God. What does that say right there? For those who love God, to those who call according to his purpose. And I was looking at verse 27 a few minutes ago. It says, Romans 8:27. Now he who searches the hearts knows what the mind of the Spirit is, because he makes intercession for the saints according to the will of God. So you got to open that heart up. You got to let him in. And if you do that, things are going to change in your life. If you feel sorry for yourself or you figure you have nothing left, I'm going to tell you right now, don't get in front of me and tell me that you can't make it, because I'm going to find every good thing about you that I can, because you've heard enough bad and negative all your life. I've known some of these people in this room right now 20, 30 years before my hair was even gray. The point I'm getting at is you see the good. I told my granddaughter one day, don't even talk to your sister like that. Don't you never say nothing negative to her again. Matter of fact, I'm going to preach a sermon. It's called Look for the Good in People, Not the Bad. We're too busy looking for the bad in people instead of the good.
Yes.
And everybody has got so much good in them. Satan wants you to have the bad because he's going to tempt you. Here I'm preaching already, but that's all right. He's going to tempt you because he finds your weakness. And your weakness is not your addiction. It's your heart. That's what he's going for, because that's where your strength is too. And he's going to go after that. So you've got to stay focused on God, period. It says, for whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, Jesus Christ, that he might be the firstborn among my brethren, he says. I mean, this goes on. You come in the room in the middle of it?
Yeah, I just want to jump right there.
Oh, come on.
Stay right there. You're good. I just want to say, I found something about that today. A lot of us either people give truth to you or they give grace. I'm a grace giver, always have been. But the problem, the grace I give, sometimes to give people grace is where I mess up. I'll lower the standards. And you can't lower the standards and give somebody the truth at the same time. I make that mistake and I try to correct it. Then there's the truth people. And the truth people who are so busy telling you, hey, you this, you that, they just tell you like it is. They don't come out and just send it to you. The problem with the truth people is that when it's their turn to get the truth revealed on them, where's the grace then? That's when they're going to need the grace.
That's right.
So God balances that, man. He gives you the truth and the grace, you know. And that came back to where there's a fine line there. And it goes back to where we're talking about as parents and all.
Absolutely.
So if you're giving that truth out, you're going to need that grace when your junk comes out, because we point that at people to hide our stuff. And if you're giving that grace, give it, but give it with the balance of truth, where you're really not setting somebody up for failure. Out of love, which we've all done too. So,
Yeah.
finally, I just want to put that in.
Oh no, I'm glad you got up here and got to preaching and stuff. That's good, man.
You know, warm up.
Yeah, yeah. So, Pat, I was trying to get that back in so you can get that going for me.
Miss Shirley said that the Crossway starts at 6:30 according to their website.
6:30. It's called PAL, right?
PAL, yeah.
All right. And they also have a program called Reboot
She says it's Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. I wasn't sure it was Tuesday or Wednesday, but
Yes, and that's according to their website.
When
Thomas says a whole lot of pain for a whole lot of families. They can't believe their kid is sick. That's denial. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
That's the river in Egypt.
denial. Yeah, denial.
well, you know, Bo, I really want to thank you tonight for. We've been here about an hour or so now, but I want to thank you for being here tonight and sharing, because for you to do that, we all know. I mean, I've learned through this community that you need to do what you're doing tonight, and you want to give back. You just gave back a lot more than you think you do.
Yes.
I think you do. You're a smart guy, man.
Yes.
But I want to thank you for honoring us with you being here tonight, because you're a brave man
Yes.
to stand here in this room and look on that screen, and you're talking to more people out there than you are in this room, and you're helping so many people. Just think what God does for us every single day. How brave are we to say to Him, "I love you, God, and thank you for what you did for me." That takes bravery too. But what you guys have been through is commendable, and it's honorable. Not what you've been through, but what you've been through in recovery and what you're doing now to give back. That's the important thing. So when you look at somebody, you find the good in people. You never find the bad. You know what they got jails for? Just to hold somebody down for a while till they can get them straightened out, or hope and pray that they do. And then here we come. We're going to be there waiting on you somewhere. I mean, that happens all of the time. But see, God's got a plan for everybody, every single person. But Russ, I'm going to pull you back over here, because we're going to do the rest of these quotes real quick. Bo, again, I want to tell you we love you. Thank you. And it's just been an awesome session.
I love
with
you too.
tonight,
I
man.
really appreciate the opportunity to do
Oh,
it.
man.
Yes.
I really
That's
do.
what it's all
It meant a
about,
lot
bro.
to me.
No, it's just, you mean a lot to us too. So, Russ, come over here. Let's do these quotes, man. Let's finish this one up here.
Oh, Pastor,
Yes, ma'am.
can I share something?
You can share whatever you want, young lady.
Yeah.
Okay, so I ran across
Sure,
this
you do.
today, and when I read this, it made me think about, like, it says, this is Luke 15, and it's talks about the 100 sheep, and then the one goes missing, and Jesus leaves the 99 and goes after the one, and the 99's like, but what about us? Don't we matter? And of course, the 99 still matter, but they're not the ones in danger. So when I read that off, I just thought about, the one is the one in danger. So he goes after the one. And so when I read that earlier, I thought about an addict, the one being the addict.
It talks about the 100 sheep
Yes.
and how when he found it, that one
Mhm.
sheep, he lays it on his shoulders rejoicing.
Yes.
That's where you were going with this.
Yes.
Wasn't it? That's why I went to the scripture real quick.
Mhm.
That is such a great point, because how often do people drift out there, y'all? I mean, they go and they go until somebody grabs them and pulls them back and says, look, you can do this. We can help you do this. But we can't do it if you don't help us help you.
Yes, but it's like he's going after that one because he's the one in danger. The 99 aren't. It's not that they don't matter, but the one is the one that was in danger.
Making that first step,
Yes.
a couple of our friends here tonight did. that first step is the hardest, in my opinion. The rest of it gets a little bit, it starts snowballing. And Bo, you did such an excellent job, and thank you for.
Yes, thank
I hope
you.
I know that one person that's going to help already. I've already prayed. I just know God's got it. We got
Yes.
too many people here in agreement.
Yes.
And you know, not only is it good for you to help people, it helps you out.
Yes.
It helps
I
me
just
in my
told you
organization. Yeah, because I mean, I get so encouraged every time. I tell Pastor Bill every time I come in, it just kind of fires me back up. When I'm out of that, my mind starts running
Yes.
the other way. It's just automatically gonna go the other way. It's just how it remains. And then, but once I get away from it, now I'm not listening to as much worship. Now I'm not around. It just becomes easy to be a problem. And it's definitely the answer is being around it, giving it, because it's just as much for you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you, man. That was good.
Yes.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you all.
And you know, the Bible says too, just since we're in Luke 15, I'm just looking back up at scriptures. I looked up, God says, tell them this. It says, and the Pharisees and the scribes complained, saying, this man receives sinners and he eats with them.
Mhm.
You know, everybody, we hold God on such a high pedestal because he is the almighty God and he is in charge of everything, the great creator. But he also will sit right down there with you and have a bowl of cereal right beside you
Yes.
because he loves you just like you should be loving him.
Mhm.
His is unconditional. But he will go to the ones that are the weakest. He's not looking for the rich and the famous. He's looking for the ones that are crawling down the street trying to get their life back. And that's what we have to do on our part. What does the song say? We catch them, he cleans them. We got to get them to him. So we cannot save one person, not any of us in this room, but Jesus Christ can save anybody. Without Father God being where he's at, since Jesus is to the right hand of God, there's no way that you can lose if you accept Jesus Christ. So if any of you out there tonight don't know Jesus Christ and you have accepted him, it's not too late. Tonight's a good time. I'm not sure how many more viruses are going to come through this world, but that's something else, by the way, since I said that. I was shown in a book last night written in 1989, and I was shown a paragraph that it was written in that book, and it literally stated the year 2020, and it literally stated in that same paragraph about a virus that would sweep through this world,
Yes.
Really?
and that it would be here and be powerful, or make to be think that it was, or
Yes.
thought that it was, but would be gone that quick, like it was never here.
Yes.
And it's exactly, that book was written in 1989.
Yes.
It has happened.
I read that too.
Yes. So isn't that not incredible?
That is absolutely.
See, if we would stay more in God's word, if we would stay more focused on what we're supposed to do in our life to help people, he's going to keep revealing these things to us. People think, and some people that don't know God or don't know the word, and they can read it and study it all they want, but if you don't live it, what are you doing? But anyway, murder didn't just start today. It goes way back in being with Abel and Cain. You know, you got sin did not just start today. Ask Adam and Eve. I mean, this thing goes back. God did not heal the blind man until that time was right. He did it, and that's when that example needed to be shown to everybody. The lady that touched the garment of Jesus Christ. That happened at that time that it needed to happen. So everything that's going on in your life is when God's got a plan for you, but you got to follow him, because how can you see what he's trying to show you? We tell them in church all the time, how can you recognize a blessing if he's trying to give you one? If you don't know the word, and if you don't know the word, you don't know how to recognize the blessing. Oh, it's just something good that happened. No, it's not something that's happened that's just good. It's because God wanted to bless you with something as a reward to you for doing what you're supposed to do. I was always taught, expect a blessing. If you're going to give a blessing, expect one. Well, that's just what a lot of traditional stuff a lot of times. And the word says a lot of different things. But anyway, I'm going to be quiet because I'll keep going. Let's go through the rest of this.
I put this on today. I got this in a word on my page. It said, if you keep speaking what you think your limitation, basically, if you keep speaking what you think are limitations, you will feed your insecurities. And if God is trying to starve your insecurities, why are you feeding them? What we feed will grow. Stop speaking against yourself and get out of God's way. That was one thing too that, like, you know, it's stop making other people's life a hard time. You know, I think about the oldest profession in the world, prostitution. What's up, girls? You know, it's what Jesus he hung out with the tax.
That's right. He did.
He was circling me. My most like gangster Jesus moment in the Bible was when he bent down and he started drawing and saying,
Oh, yeah. That
all
was
of them.
awesome.
I mean, I can hear that story all day long.
Yes, sir.
And love it. So I'm going to tell you, after this and a lot of time too, I want to, and I think this is fine with you too, Let you know at breaking point, if you are currently drinking, and you are not clean, come on, because we're gonna love you.
That's right.
And the goal is not to keep you there. The goal is to love you first, and that's what we're gonna do. It doesn't matter where you're at; you will not be judged. We don't do the chips openly anymore because we found it did put pressure on people. But we will give the chips out for those who want them and need them. But wherever you are, the same thing that Jesus would have done. That's our only goal. So no one will be judged in any way. I promise you're gonna get loved, and when you get that love, you're gonna go, where does that love come from? We ain't even got to tell you because we're gonna be glowing.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why we went to faith based a lot, because
Yeah.
we wanted to be sure that
That's right.
people understood God's in control. We're not. We just got to follow Him.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got to make the right choices. Here we go again. It's the same thing, and it all just comes together. But you got to reach that breaking point
Yes.
before you're going to make that turn. And when you can do that, that's why I was asking Bo about that a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because people, we got to know where our breaking point's at.
Yes.
You know, I mean, like, hey, really? How much longer are you going to let yourself go like that?
What's
How
your-
much longer are you going to crawl on your hands and knees? But see, here's the one thing right here, Russ, and then we'll do this right here. Because I told you I wasn't going to preach, but you know how that works out. I know. Here we go. Yeah. The one thing that drags us down the most in our life is pride. Our pride.
Yes.
If we let go of that pride and let go and let God. It says it on the picture in the church in the cafe. It sure does. So release some of that pride, man. I mean, that pride will eat you up.
Pride and fear.
Right, and fear, because fear controls
Yes.
your life. But the fear of God, when you hear fear God, well, fear in God is reverence and respect is what that is. It's a whole different thing. Let me go to this quote right here, okay?
So that's one. Both, could you have been, if you'd have been sober, but no Jesus, think you'd still be happy or as happy?
No, absolutely not.
No, that's what it is. And I agree. You could have been sober all day long and been so miserable still.
I had been.
Yeah, that's good, man. That was awesome, man.
And a lot of people put on comments thanking you
Yes, sir.
for doing this. And matter of fact, Cindy says, Bo, you have a story that needs to be heard. And there are young folks out there that need to hear your story. God is so good, and I am thankful to Him for your recovery.
Thank
Your
you.
story's going to be like some of my exes, brother. They going to get around.
That's right.
All right.
Oh, good Lord.
Gracious.
Okay, so this quote right here says recovery is about progression, not perfection. That fit right there, didn't it?
That's right.
That was a pretty good one. I mean,
This store not there, but it gets a turn.
Here,
Oh,
you take that one right there. You good with that?
I love when he gets nervous like this. He's
Nervous? No, I'm trying to. I know
Feels
where
that
you're
cat.
going. The first time we were in here, you told me I didn't have no shoes or something on. Or don't even. Go ahead.
His toenails are painted.
2 peas in a pod.
All right. Recovery didn't open the gates of heaven and let me in. Recovery opened the gates of hell and let me out. I love that. I've seen it.
You take that home
Yes.
if you want to. Hang that on the wall. That's a good one.
That hurt a little bit.
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't.
No,
Feel
it didn't.
good.
That felt good.
Let me out, baby.
It says, I know that you've tried and I know you feel like giving up, but you're not going to. You know why? Because you are strong, and when you survive through all of the stuff your addiction has put you through,
William.
you thought I was going to say that word, didn't you? You can survive recovery. You thought I was going to do it, didn't you?
I thought you didn't know. You
No,
just
I
said-
saw it.
I was like, shh.
When I do enough you do enough YouTube, you watch the words as best you can because they change
Was
quickly.
I there? I didn't know.
You were on it though.
I was like, I was going,
Because
go
matter
on
of
without
fact,
me.
when
Go on without me. Save yourself.
when you did like this, I'd already gotten by it. I was safe. Let me get away from that. Oh, who's this guy? You know this guy?
It's like one ribbon box.
Well, he might be. I think that's all of them. You got something else
I
you
hope
want
it's
to bring?
done. No, not after that, brother. I've been convicted of.
You've been having
Your paper.
out of my paper.
Hey, next Thursday night, I cannot wait to feel what it's going to be like in that room. Put
So
the
we
S
good?
on your chest because the Spirit's coming.
Yep, and Brooke's coming back to
Yeah.
sing. Well, some praise and worship. You guys be sure to come for that. Have little snacks at the end of it, but some fellowship is real important
That's right, man.
that we're doing right now over there. Or we'll be back next Thursday.
Congratulations again on that 9 months, brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
After
huge, man.
9 months, so we want to be able to help anybody, like Russ said. So, how about right now? We're going to go to the Lord in a word of prayer. We're going to dismiss from our meeting here tonight, our program. Again, thank y'all very much for following us at Breaking Point. Brother Russ Snyder, Patrick Ulrich, Tammy, and Brother Bo right here, and our 2 friends right here in front. So right here.
Like, comment, share.
Yeah, that's right. Hit
And no president's good without a bow.
That's right.
Because Bo said no.
Bo knows.
That's just years of tea. I've never got out of high school or middle school.
Well, yeah, that was good though when you
That
said
was
it.
good.
Bo said no.
No good, bro.
We got to put that on a shirt, man. Bo
Why not?
says no.
We better pray before we get.
Okay, I'm sorry. Nobody. Father, we thank you tonight. We appreciate it, Lord, for your love. Lord, we appreciate you, Lord, for all that you do for us. Lord, thank you for giving us the strength tonight to get through this program. Father, thank you for your spirit in the room tonight, Lord. I know your presence is here, Lord. I feel it right now. But Father, I ask that anybody that's out there that's struggling right now, that feels like that it's just time to quit. They just want to give up on life. If you got to quit anything, quit the addiction. Let us get with you. Let us help you get away from it. Let us help you take that next step. Just think about the ladder from here to heaven. You got to get on the first step before you can get to the second step. So we got to be able to climb all the way to the top. You got to take that first step. You got to know that we love you, and you got to know that God loves you unconditionally more than you will ever know. Father, again, thank you for your presence. Thank you for Bo tonight, Lord.
Yes.
Thank you for this world, the church, our life, the program, Breaking Point, even the props, God. Well, thank you for the props. Tonight, Russ is my prop, God. That's all right.
Beside the jukebox, if I die.
Here we go. Here we go.
Thank you.
Father, we just want to ask you right now to bless every person out there tonight that's been on the chat line with us. Lord, we want to ask for if there's anybody out there tonight that feels like they're just on their last breath or last leg, if you would. Find somebody and call them. Get a hold of one of us. My number is 706-284-2526. 706-284-2526. You can call me anytime. And we'd love to just pray with you over the phone or maybe come get you and help you. That's what it's all about. I want to lift up Harlan tonight, Lord. And he keeps coming back to the house here because see, God, I know you're dealing with his heart. I know you're dealing with his darkness, and I've asked you, God, to put more light in his darkness. Because if you put light in the darkness is going to go away. But Father, we thank you for your unconditional love. And Father, all the praise and all of the glory that we will ever encounter all goes to you, because it's not for us, it's for you. Amen and amen.
Amen.
Thank y'all and good night to you. You good?
Yeah, I'm great. We get a front row seat to see this. Yeah.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
That's beautiful.
Was my hair gray when we came in here? It's grayer, it seems like.
Like that picture right there, I want to talk about that mullet.
Talk about that mullet I had.
My God.
You leave my mullet alone, man.
I had one too. I can see
I know you did. Good night. God bless y'all, man.
In everybody's mouth at the same time to say, hello, I want to reintroduce who I am. I still do miracles. I still have faith. I keep my promises. This is who my God is.
So, put your food at 6:30 or after?
What's your high school? West side. That hair has beer. That's how you go and rub your head.
Congratulations. You know, I just got my 9-month tip last week, and I made a comment, you know, I never thought I would be 9 months thinking not being pregnant.
Wow. Guess what?
That was a blank screen.